Hello and once again welcome to Redona Designs, and in this episode we are going to look at the reverse engineering of a camera clip. So maybe let's go through an overview of how the part was designed, and then we can start designing our own. So I'll just roll it back to how I started it out. So the first thing was this first cylinder, and then a second cylinder. So this is the base of the part. It captures most of the features of the part, or the primary features of the part. Next up, we sliced this part. Gives you a small chamfer, gives you a small chamfer, and we had to mirror it onto the other side, and then we have a cutout there in between to make this space, and then we have another cutout of the hexagons all through. Then we have a small cutout. This is where an end clip is to be fitted, and then we mirror it onto the other side, as you can see. After that, we have a cut through. This is the fastener. It was an M5 fastener that is now holding this part onto the frame. Okay, so after that, we have this small recess. This is what allows, because it's a circular tubing, so this allows it to fit into the circular tubing. A small recess. After that, we have some tabs. These are some alignment tabs, but we capture the whole detail in the next feature, which is another cut through. And then after that, we had some small recess on the tabs themselves, on the inside. After that, we have a small recess for the head of the screw that is to fit inside here. Thereafter, so at this point we've actually finished the part, and the rest of the parts are just for 3D printing purposes and just strengthening it. For instance, we have this chamfer here. So this chamfer just means to give these parts extra support, but the original part did not have these chamfers. That's because it was injection molded rather than 3D printed. So because we can at least add, we can make this part a bit much more stiff, I decided to add onto that those chamfers, and then after that we just fillet. We have this inside fillet and then the rest of the fillets, and just like that we've covered the whole part. So join me as we're going to design this part from scratch and see the dimensions and the approach that I took. Okay, so we're going to start off by opening a new part, and then we're going to go to the bottom plane, the top plane, and then take a circle, give it a dimension of 32 millimeters, exit. That is the base circle, and then we're going to go to the right plane and then draw another circle here, and then give it a dimension of 24 millimeters. Add a vertical relation to the origin, and then dimension it. Hold the shift button, select the upper circumference and the origin. You have to hold the shift button for you to get there. Select the circumference, otherwise it's going to select the center of the circle. So give it a dimension of 35 millimeters. So this establishes the size of our part. So this is as per the design. So after that, still selecting this sketch, we are going to have an extrude, and since the part is mostly symmetrical, bilaterally symmetrical, we're going to use the mid plane, and then we're going to extrude it by 45 millimeters. And we have our first feature. The next feature, we're going to select the first circle that we created and then extrude it by 20 millimeters. And then click OK. Then we're going to now give it a chamfer. So two ways you can go about it. You can either give it a chamfer straight on this edge. It looks something like that. However, this is not what we want. As you can see, as you can remember in the last part that we had, this was actually a planar surface. So how to go about that? We're going to select the right plane again and then take the line, draw a line between those two edges. Make sure this first one is touching the circle, the edge of the circle, where this edge and the edge of the circle meet, and then this other one touches the extreme end of the cylinder. Then we're going to dimension the space there to 45 degrees, that angle to 45 degrees, and that is enough to give us a feature to cut with. So we're going to have through all both, but we're going to flip the direction of cutting. As you can see, it's showing down. We want it to show outside the part. And then click OK. Now this is what we were aiming for. This is like a planar surface. And then we replicate this onto the other side. So we're going to use the front plane to mirror, and that's it. So from here we are going back to the right plane, circle, and then to find if you can't find the middle of this circle, just drag your cursor onto the edge of that circle, and then it's going to give you that black crosshairs over there. Make a circle, dimension it to 24 millimeters. Sorry, 25 millimeters. Okay. And then we are going to cut it, and then we're going to use the mid plane, and the distance will be 15 millimeters. That is okay. So as you can see, our part has begun to take shape. Select this face, start a sketch, use the polygon, make sure there are 6. Again, we find the black crosshairs, make that polygon, and then we're going to dimension the two ends, this part, the two edges, this one and this one, to 14 millimeters. And we're going to give it a relation of horizontal, and then extrude cut through all. so that it can pass all the way through to this other cylinder. Next, still using that face, start a sketch, and you're going to create the small recess. So another circle, dimension it to 20 millimeters, and then extrude cut it this time around, blind, make sure it's blind, and then 3 millimeters inside. Sorry, taking the boss extrude, so 3 millimeters inside, cut extrude, that is okay. So after that, we replicate this feature onto the other side, and to do that, we're going to use the mirror command, and you're going to duplicate it about right plane. Then we can select the last feature that we created, click OK. Like so. Then from here, we're going to go now to the base, start a sketch, the base circle, draw a circle, give it a dimension of 5 millimeters, give it a through cut through everything, so you can go all the way through the part. Click OK, and then we're going to create the recess that's going to fit into the circular tubing. Get another sketch on the base circle. Let's create this circle, give it a dimension of 28 millimeters. Then we are going to actually flip the side to cut, and then extrude blind by 5 millimeters. Click OK, like so. Thereafter, we're going to select that face again, and then let's first create a sketch that we're going to use to extrude the alignment tabs. So create another circle, it's 22 millimeters. And then for the outside circle, we're actually going to convert entities. It's going to give us the outer edge of the first circle, the base circle rather. And then now for the tabs, we are going first to create a center line, two actually, one vertical and one horizontal. So these are going to make our work a little bit easier. So we create a vertical line between the two circles that we just modeled, and then make it a vertical relation. Then select the dimension and click that line and the center line, and then you're going to have this dimension as 7 millimeters. Then we're going to mirror this line about that vertical center line. That's our first tab. The other tab was slightly smaller, so we have a horizontal line. We make a horizontal line, so click that one, the circle, make them coincident. Take that, the circle, make it coincident. Make sure this line is horizontal, and then let's dimension it about the horizontal center line. That's going to be 5 millimeters. So after that, we mirror this line about this horizontal center line, like so. Then we're going to now mirror everything. So we're going to take this first portion and mirror it about the horizontal line like that, and then this other portion and mirror them about the vertical line, this vertical line, like so. And now with that, we are ready now to create our alignment tabs. So we go to the extruded cut, select that portion, this portion, this portion, this portion. So you go to the selected contours here, because we have a lot of geometry here, so we have to select which contour we actually want to cut. And then we're going to give it a condition up to surface, and then we're going to make it up to this recessed surface that we created earlier. Click OK, and you have our first part like so. The first part of our alignment tabs rather. Then we start another sketch onto the base plane from the base plane, and then we're going to make that circle equal to this first circle, or the bottom edge of the lines that we created for the alignment tabs. And then this one, we are going to select extrude cut, and this end condition is going to be offset from surface. So which surface? Again, this surface. So it's going to go a little bit deeper by around 2 millimeters, and we can flip the direction or reverse offset right here, so it can go inside, not outside, like so. So we're going to create the step. The next step is creating a step here on the tabs, alignment tabs rather. So another circle, give it a dimension of 24. And this time around, we're going to also extrude cut, but it's going to be offset from surface. Which surface? This surface. And this time the direction is okay. So it's going to be 2 millimeters from that surface. No need to reverse it, and like that, we've created it. So what remains is the recess that we had for the fastener that's going to fasten everything over here. So that one, we're still going to create it from this surface. Start a sketch, circle. It's an M5, so anything from 8 millimeters would work for the recess, but we're going to give it, say, 9 millimeters to allow for some clearance. And then this one, we're going to use extruded cut again, but this time around we're going to change from plane to offset from this plane, and we're going to offset it like 3 millimeters. And we're going to flip the offset. Then on the direction 1 end condition, we're going to go through all. Let's see what it's going to do. Yeah, so at this time we've modeled the whole part, and what remains is just giving it some few details for the finishing. So because this part is going to be, I wasn't so sure about the strength of the part as it is, because I'm going to be printing it out of PLA. So I decided to give it some strength onto these overhanging corners. So instead of making them cantilevers as they are, we just select them and we give them a chamfer. Go to features, chamfer of a 6.5 millimeters. So I know you're going to ask, how did I get the 6.5? So I wanted a chamfer that terminates onto this part. So if we can go back one step, so 6 millimeters, how I got it, let's just go to the front plane, and you can see if I select this edge, you can see the length is 6.5 millimeters. So this is the value that I used down here. Okay, so with that, the rest is just giving it fillet. So we're going to fillet this edge, and I used a fillet of 0.5 millimeters. So yeah, with that, I can see we've concluded in making our part. And yeah, so as you can see, as an overview, we identified the primary features of this part, and those are the two cylinders. Then after that, we went ahead and modeled it step by step, giving it mostly the details of the features, like the recesses and the alignment tabs. And with that, you can see that it can be quite challenging or quite easy depending on how you take it, but just take it one step at a time, and all will be well. So thank you for joining me, and watch out for the next episode. I think at this point I'll show you some pictures of how this part turned out. So thank you, and join me in the next episode. Until then, bye bye.